If you're tired of the standard business and marketing fundamentals, frameworks, and funnels, you need a little mischief. Get ready to turn up the volume on the CEO Mischief Maker podcast, where you access conversations with seasoned business owners who have smashed through mindset barriers, innovated the standard boring business and marketing playbooks, and executed future-paced strategies with bleeding-edge tools and tactics to micro-fail their way into massive success and growth. We are Mindset Impact Strategic Catalysts helping innovative entrepreneurs focus. We are CEO Mischief Makers. Ready to make a little mischief? I get to introduce you to a really cool guy. I mean, if you're watching the video, you see his background, you already know he's cool. Tom Mattzen. Tom, welcome to the conversation. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Mary. So excited. I always figure an event like this, there's at least two people listening at any one moment. So hello to both of you. Hello to both of you. And super excited to share this with your tribe of thousands and tens of thousands. It's a pleasure. We met recently and it's had so much in common. So I'm super excited to dig deeper.
Yeah, I can't wait. So here, everybody listening, this is the power of being open to conversations. And that's how Tom and I met. There was someone else I met at a conference recently. That person said, "Oh, you got to meet Tom." And here we are. So start us off.
In Costa Rica, she forgot to drop that little gem. Well, learning and writing off a trip to Costa Rica. I like that part.
It was amazing. So start us off with who you are and what you do.
Well, I appreciate you asking. My name is Tom. I'm an alcoholic. Oh, no, wait a sec. Wrong meeting.
Wrong meeting.
I get confused all the time. I'm a serial entrepreneur, been at this game for 37 years. Three sort of eras to my life as an entrepreneur. The first, a little over a decade, I helped bricks and mortar and service businesses start, run, and scale. And then for about another 10 years, I started to take the best of those and help them license or franchise and take their mission globally. And then for the last decade or so, within that subset, I focused on people that are creating what I call movements. People that are mission-driven entrepreneurs that want to do good and make money at the same time, and helping them build a global movement and a 7 or an 8-figure business at the same time. And along the way, I've had 91 businesses, made and lost millions many times over, which I'm sure we're going to get into in
I hope so,
or the next one, because as your listeners know, some of the best lessons we get in life come from our mistakes. So
I really think all of them.
Ones.
Lots of them. So let's start there. Yeah, that's exactly where we want to start. So give me an idea. Like you start with bricks and mortar and service businesses starting, growing, and scaling. So that's a pretty common thing right now for many people serve that particular group of people. And you did it 3 decades ago. So in that process, first off, what in the world made you attracted to that group? And what kind of mindset shifts did you have to endure or welcome in order to do that successfully?
Yeah, it was pretty fascinating. I was working for Dale Carnegie Training. Some of your listeners will know Dale Carnegie, one of the largest adult training organizations in the world today. And I was working with them, selling and instructing. And as part of that path, I was what was called a graduate assistant, where we would have 6 or 8 students that we would sort of mentor between sessions. And we would meet with them to make sure they stayed on track with the exercises during the training. Great idea for accountability for you coaches and leaders out there. And they were all graduates of the program. That was one of the criteria. They're all volunteers. I did that part of my job as a volunteer. And it was something I got to know these 6 or 8 people really well. And because I was full-time in Dale Carnegie, I had 5 or 6 classes I was doing this with a week. So I had 40, 50, 60 people that I got to know super well. And what would happen was they would ask me for advice on their business. I was 23 years old, 24 years old, a young, high energy man. So of course I had an opinion. I had no necessarily training or experience for my opinion, but I had something my first wife would say later, often wrong, but never in doubt. And so I would always have an opinion. And at one point it dawned on me that these people were asking me critical business decisions and I had no training in that area. So I started to take seminars and classes and courses. I was fortunate enough to live in Calgary, Alberta. And Calgary was one of the A stops that all of the big name speakers always stopped in. Partly because back then, and I think still today, it had more Americans per capita than any city outside the US, anywhere in the world. Wow. A lot of people from the oil and gas business were in Calgary that had moved up there. And so to American speakers, the Tony Robbins of the world and others, Calgary was an A stop all the time. And so I started going to all these speakers and going to all their trainings. And then I started to go to business development speakers, and business development training. And I started to actually learn how to do this. And so now my advice became way more grounded in reality and experience, albeit not mine, the people that I was learning from. And that was the first big shift. Is that, there's two ways to learn things. You know this, right? You can learn from your own mistakes or you can learn from the mistakes of others. That's it, people.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't learn from your successes. People who say that have never made real money or had real impact in the world. They're just getting going. And if you're listening to this and you haven't had any big failures yet and you're like, that's BS, well, just batten down the hatches.
Just wait a while. It's coming.
Batten down the hatches, let me tell you, because it's going to come. It's going to hit you hard. And so for me, that was the start of the first big shift, is I realized if I studied from people that were excellent at this and applied it, I could really serve people. And then I got into that so much, I just started to do it full time. I left Dale Carnegie. I went full time. I was a marketing consultant. I think the first business name was Stingray Marketing because I love the Stingray car. Had nothing to do with the fish. Years later, my girlfriend had a Stingray car and I got to drive it. And boy, oh boy, was it a nice car. Very fast. Couldn't corner with the dang, but very fast. And so anyhow, I would start to work with businesses and that became my full-time gig. But there was a problem. And the problem was when they called me up, they were desperate. In fact, usually they called me up after they had exhausted all the things they needed to do, all the money they had, and they would call me up and they would say, "Hey, Tom, I hear you're really good at this. I need help boosting my sales. I need to cover payroll in 3 days."
Yeah, right. You're like, what?
And I mean, I was good, but they were like they were looking for miracles.
Yeah,
they were looking for marketing miracles. What I did learn very quickly, though, from a guy I met in Calgary, from a client actually, was that if I guaranteed results, people would pay me more and be happier to do so and would listen more. It was this perfect combination of events. If you're a consultant or a coach, guaranteeing results opens up so many doors. Not only do you make a lot more money, but your clients listen better. And because they're paying you based on results and you're tying their pay to that results. And so it was this perfect storm of synergy. And that was the second big mindset shift, right? The first, I would say, was learning from other people's successes and failures and the importance of applying that. The second was the power of what I now call strategic risk reversal, which is a really fancy way of saying guarantees that rock. Yeah. But it's important. It's not just a better title. It's a different concept. Risk reversal is when you take the risk off of the prospect's shoulders and put it on your shoulders.
Right.
That's what risk reversal means. And when you do that, what a surprise, you get 9 times the prospects checking you out, interested in what you're doing, and you end up with 3 times the sales on average. Now, you're not going to get 9 times the sales normally.
Yeah, no.
Because you're going to be pickier. Right? If you're guaranteeing results, you're going to want to make sure the person knows what they're doing, that they'll listen, they can apply it. It's a good fit. You like them. A whole bunch of other factors come into play.
Yeah.
So that was the second big shift of that era. And by doing so, I also found that it didn't matter how long it took for me to get results, just that I got results. So I would get compensated sometimes in 30 days or 45 days for a 1-year project because I got very good at getting results. I got very good at getting results quickly, and they were paying me based on the result, not the time in.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that changed my life forever. And a lot of theirs too.
Yeah, definitely. That so many of the service providers that I talk to, myself included, especially when I was starting, it's just so scary to do that. It's really scary to tie your income, your revenue, with their revenue and with the results that you can get them. But once you've accumulated the knowledge, the experience, the know-how, and you have focused down on exactly who you serve and how you serve them and what problem you solve, why would you not? Because you know it. You know exactly what you're doing. You've done it before. In the beginning, yeah, it's scary because you've never done it. So I get it. But of course, you're not going to do it then. But once you've honed that skill, once you know exactly what it is you do and how well you do it, and you have a track record of results, why would you not focus on those results and allow clients to realize what it is you can do for them?
Here's the crazy thing, Mary. I now think it's even more important for newbies to do it. I totally agree with what you said. And with new people, the fastest way to create what I call the strategy of preeminence from my old mentor, Jay Abraham, the fastest way to create the strategy of preeminence is to start doing that. Because here's what's going to happen. You could say very transparently, when they say, well, have you done this before? No, that's why I'm prepared to take half up front, half at the end, only if it works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so confident I can get you there. I'm prepared to take half my fee instead of the full amount. There's a very basic risk reversal. We do far more advanced ones today, but as a very basic starting point, it allows someone brand new in the space to immediately penetrate when the quote experts are not doing it. Because now you can say, oh yeah, we're going to do that. So are the other people that you're talking to prepared to do that? No. Oh, okay. Why is that? Well, they're really good at it. They don't have to do that. They're really good at it, or they just want your money. I mean, I'm just asking. Because you're right about the second part of what you were saying. If you're really good at it and you link it to results, everybody wins and you make a lot more money in the process. Yeah. They're happier to give you a lot more money. That's the incredible win-win combination. Yeah. And by the way, this also works for nonprofits. It's not just in the for-profit world. Nonprofits are about delivering a service, delivering value for that service. They can also do that. Now, let's not get crazy. Let's not pretend governments could guarantee results. Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be? Well, they don't even use their own money. So, I mean, what difference? Of course they can't guarantee results. But yeah, so, and I have to be honest with you, this is a great idea, even for newbies, because there are 2 recent clients who have come to me because, of course, in the marketing world, there have been all kinds of people who promise lots of things and don't deliver. Yes. And there's one particular prospect that I'm meeting with actually tonight in a few hours that has been burned. She has been waiting for her webinar script, her webinar funnel and flow and all those things for 2 years.
Wow.
This agency has promised her all these things. She's paid them for all these things, and they haven't delivered a darn thing in 2 years. So yeah, she's going to be very skeptical of anything I say because she's been burned. And another one, again, about 6 months ago, same scenario, burned beyond belief. And so they come to us as service providers with that mentality, and they're painting us with that brush from that previous experience. So if you can,
and they should, right? Because that's part of learning from their own mistakes, right? It's like,
that's right.
I've been burned before. Why are you going to be different, Mary?
Yep, I've heard this before. Yeah, right. You promised me all these things. So if you can come, especially to someone like that who has been burned by someone before, and come to say, all right, I get it. I hear you. What I did for the first person 6 months ago is, if I don't get results from you, I will refund your money. Because I had a team of people that I was bringing into this. I will refund your money if we don't get results. I will work for free. What do you want me to do? What would be valuable to you? Refund your money or me work for free until it happens? Which do you prefer?
Let's talk about that one, because that's actually a common feeling that new people think that's what a guarantee is in this scenario.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
actually, while I did that in my early years, I don't think that's a good strategy today.
Yeah.
And let me tell you why. Someone with your confidence, totally, there's nothing wrong with it. But for most people, it's not a good strategy. And here's why. Skin in the game. You've
Yeah.
all heard that phrase.
Yes.
There is something to having skin in the game. So right now we focus on helping clients develop what others would call high ticket offers, high ticket programs, primarily. My main focus is building a global golf cafe franchise. And even there, we're guaranteeing results. But on high ticket programs, we don't want people to think they can get their money back. And so they dabble and see, well, I'll just try it. I'll just try it. No, we want people committed.
Yes.
So our model is 25% upfront, non-refundable. It's your
Right.
skin in the game. Then the
Right.
second payment of 25% linked to early wins, and the last 50% linked to the home run. Really simple model, but super powerful because now they're committed as much as you. The saddest thing in the world is when you're committed to helping your clients more than they are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? You've been there
Yeah.
because we talked about this. When you're more committed than the client is, it's
Forget
really
it.
difficult for them to take action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And that's usually the person who does it, who says, I'll do it for free until we get results. There's where you set yourself up for that exact scenario.
And by the way, let me talk about that one because there are very few situations where, or I'll keep doing it until we get you there, is a win-win. And it's a noble thing to offer, for sure. And I've done it many times. And when you know what you're doing, you can offer that. But here's the thing. Does the person want more of your time if you're not getting results?
Right. Why would they?
It depends. It depends. Is it their fault or your fault or someone else's fault, right? If they believe it's your fault as the coach, the last thing they want is more time with you.
That's right.
It's like it's not working. And, we talked when we first met about someone I met in the automation space who offered an incredible risk reversal to get my business, to try it all out. And away she went and she delivered results. And then I started to introduce her and her price was suddenly 5 times as much and forgot to tell me that. And I don't begrudge people charging more, but I do begrudge people just randomly charging 5 times as much, not guaranteeing better results. You can charge as much as you want if you link it to results.
Yeah.
And the formula is 10 times, right?
Yeah.
For those of you that are out there that are making that transition from freelance to building a real business, which I know is a lot of you, right? Think of your fee times 10. That's what they should get. That's what they should get. That's a proper marketing ROI. And so if you want to charge $10,000, you need to come up with a way to get them $100,000 of new business.
That's right. That's right.
And if you can't do that, don't just throw up your hands and throw away the strategy. Talk to people like Mary or me or other people to say, how could I? Or talk to some of your best clients and say, what are your best success stories? What did you get? Find out what does it take to do that? Because sometimes it's as simple as adding in a couple more steps. Right. I'll give you a perfect example is podcasting, right? An area is near and dear to your heart, right? And we're on one right now. What do you know, right? Podcasting on its own doesn't make a dime, but building high trust relationships do. So when you can bridge the two, where you take the high trust relationships that happen between a host and a guest and link it to results, I know people that guarantee 6 figures and 7 figures in results from a podcast.
Yeah.
I also know a vast majority of people that simply charge you money to be on a show, regardless of any results. Right?
Absolutely.
That's why you're developing that software to eliminate that entire crazy, stupid industry that charges money just to book things. It's like, no, we can automate that. We don't need you to be paying $500 a gig for a no-name podcast. Like, come on. No. So yeah, for me, it's super important that as entrepreneurs, we realize our job is to bring order from chaos for our clients. That's our job. And as part of that, for most of us, if we're in the business world, it's linked to results, right? Either more sales, more clients, more profit, less turnover, more retention. I mean, there are different ways to measure results depending on your service and your product and what you're doing, but there are lots of ways. But this also includes the soft side. The soft side. We can talk about that in a bit if you like, because a lot of people on the soft side of things are like, oh, you can't guarantee happiness or joy or peace of mind. Well, you can, actually. You can.
Okay, hold on. If your mindset was shifted, you were inspired to innovate, and you were spurred into action, don't just move on with your day. Focus, my friend, and take a few minutes to visit CEOmischiefmaker.com to learn more about the value that was shared with you today. Please act now and create some CEO mischief of your own.